Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends, guys. Welcome back to r/EntitledPeople, where some people literally think it's all about them. And who cares about everyone, right? And in today's episode, OP shares a story about the time his marriage gets absolutely destroyed because his spoiled, bratty stepdaughter steals from his son, and her Karen mom took her side. Guys, I hope you enjoy the stories today. Don't shake your heads too hard, and as always, you can send or link your post to this email right here. Let's dive in. I've been working as a Goodwill donation attendant for almost 4 years now, and I've seen my fair share of entitled witches at work. But this one was too good not to share. So it's Labor Day weekend, and of course, we're getting slammed with oversized donations from a parade of customers. We're understaffed, and it's only me and another worker in the back. We'll call her Jenny. The two of us are barely keeping up against the customers. Anyways, I lean outside to tell the woman waiting that I'll be with her in a minute. But as I'm doing so, another woman, a Karen, marches up to the door. She shoves the other woman out of the way and she tosses a filthy vacuum at my feet before walking off. And here's the thing. Karen's car was at the back of the line. And our rules state that for customer safety and for our convenience, every customer must wait their turn. They can't just dump their donations on the ground and leave. Of course, I tell the Karen that she can't do that and she's breaking the rules. But she just ignores me as if I'm not even there. So feeling defeated, I just take her dirty and now broken vacuum and just toss it in the trash, telling Jenny what happened. And that's when I notice that Karen's returning with more stuff. I step out and once again tell her that she can't dump her items and that she needs to wait her turn like everyone else. And that's when Karen snaps back at me and says, "Calm down, you little pussy cat. I don't care about your rules. I'm just gonna dump my crap here and you can't do a thing about it." She then marches back to her car to get another load of stuff. And while this is all going down, her husband's standing in the second lane, just staring me down menacingly. The guy looked as if he was ready to attack me at any moment, possibly trying to threaten me so his precious Karen can do whatever she wants. I just walk back inside with Karen's donations, which were all unsellable by the way, just feeling angry. Jenny witnessed Karen's outburst this time and she's not having it. The nice lady I was helping has second-hand embarrassment. And that's when right on cue, the Wicked Witch of the West marches back with her third and final load of junk. I try again to tell her that she can't do this, but this time, she just ignores me completely, shoving the nice lady out of the way again, and then enters the production area, which is employees only, where she comes face to face with Jenny. That's when Jenny tells her, "Ma'am, you can't come in here." And Karen, of course, goes ballistic. She throws her trash at Jenny, and she says, "This is effing Goodwill. I'm giving you free crap, aren't I? So F off." She says that before stomping out of the building. When Karen tries to leave though, two more cars pull up in the line behind her, trapping her in the line. Karen's absolutely seething at this point. She comes out of her car over to me and she barks, "Go get your manager. I'm gonna effing get you all fired." That's when I smugly grin from ear to ear and I reply, "Oh, you mean that manager?" Pointing to Jenny, the one you just told to F off? And yeah, plot twist, Jenny is the manager. At that, Karen goes white as a sheet. She huffs and she sheepishly walks back to her car, where she awkwardly has to wait in line, just long enough for the security cameras to get her license plate. So yeah, she's permanently banned from our store now. Oh my goodness, the entitlement is baffling in this one, guys. And I just love that she got banned and she ends up getting trapped in line. A bit of instant karma, right? But seriously, what I was really hoping for was for that poor lady that Karen kept shoving to turn around and either give her a smack to the face or just push her back. But like seriously, was she really acting all high and mighty? Like her broken vacuum and trash she was dumping was the greatest thing ever brought to Goodwill? Like for sure, everything Karen was donating that day was complete useless garbage that she was either too lazy to take to the garbage dump or pay for removal for. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. And this person comments, "It would be fan-effing-tastic for her to wake up one morning and to find all of her donations tossed in her driveway. Wouldn't that be something? And I would pay frickin' money for that to happen." Okay, so this happens all the time to me, but this one call stood out in particular. I work phone support for a large tech company that has customers that run the gamut, from Fortune 500s to mom and pop coffee shops. I work support for a fairly advanced product as I'm a network engineer, but occasionally somebody finds their way through our phone system from the folks that handle the paperwork support. And the thing is, I have no access to any of these systems, nor should I, as it's a separate branch of the company. Anywho, on this day, I receive a phone call from a woman, and she starts off screaming in my ear. I pick up and she says, "Finally!" I say, "Thank you for calling generic tech company name. This is me. How can I help you?" The woman screams and says, "Oh my goodness, thank you. I've been waiting for 3 hours. The phone queue states 5 minutes, but okay, lady." I just tell her, "I'm so sorry about the wait. What product are you calling about?" I say this as I don't recognize generic store number as a customer of one of my products, so I assume she's lost. The woman screams and says, "I can't run any cards. Fix it now." I just respond, "So it sounds like you're in the wrong part of the company. Let me transfer you over to them and they'll get you sorted." The woman says, "No, I will complain all the way up to the owner and I'll get your ass fired if you transfer me. Don't you dare transfer me. You help me right now, you dumb mother effer." And yes, she actually said that. I tell her, "Ma'am, I will only say this once. Do not swear at me or insult me. You've reached this product support and not your product support. You're in the wrong department." She then says, "I want your manager now." I tell her, "Ma'am, you're in the wrong department. If you can..." That's when she interrupts me with a guttural scream, followed by complete silence. So at this point, I don't even want to get her to the right department, as I know she'll tear a new one into one of our less experienced support personnel, who already have to deal with jerks and asses all day. So I put her on hold, and I talk to my supervisor, and then to the supervisor of the other department that the call should have gone to. Meanwhile, Karen's still on hold. I then transfer her to the other supervisor. Now, I wasn't privy to the conversation, but the supervisor indicated that she was lit into by this Karen for a good 20 minutes about how rude I was, how I was swearing at her, calling her basically every mean thing in the hidden pages of the dictionary, how I was completely useless and should be fired, blah blah blah, and that she'll sue us for any lost revenue due to my mistake. And this is when gold struck. The manager tells her that the calls would be reviewed if she had a formal complaint, and that the employee, me, would be fired if that were found to be true. Hearing that, of course, she was silenced. Part of what that company does for support is very discretionary on whether the business is graded a pass or fail, and we can make or break a company's adherence to the rules that govern a ton of their operations, and Karen knows this. Karen knows that she was being harassing and rude to me, and I was being nothing but polite. The super also knows this too, and Karen did not until that time know that the calls were recorded. Her attitude adjusted after that tantrum, and we found out that she was just having a day from hell and she was pissed at the world. The support person who ends up helping her said that her car had gotten towed because her ex-husband stole the car the night before and he went on a bender. Another customer had damaged her only glass display case, and it would be days before she could get a replacement. Also, her furnace had gone out sometime in the middle of the night, leaving the house freezing. She was having a really bad day. In the end, she did get helped, and she apologized for being pissy, and life just goes on. One thing I've learned working in customer service is that you have no idea why a person who's angry is actually angry. I'm just glad she realized that we could have shut her out of a major part of her business functions if she kept it up. That bad lady's day could have ended much worse. Oh boy, listen guys, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I honestly think they should have taught her a lesson by not assisting her. And yeah, bad day or not, there's never an excuse to yell at and harass a complete random person over the phone who's just trying to do their job and help. That woman was a nasty, entitled person because you know what good people having bad days don't do? Good people having bad days don't threaten and abuse others. They also don't then lie to the person's superior for 20 minutes, telling them, "Oh, I was sweared at, they were mean to me, blah blah blah." Like this Karen tried to ruin OP's career because she had a bad day. Like people who take out their anger on random employees who are just doing their best trying to make a living are crappy people. period. And while we're on the topic of crappy people, as if the first two weren't, listen to this post, guys. So, 2 days ago, my son, who we'll call Jason, 17, came to my job upset. He told me that my stepdaughter Kelly, 19, came home with a ton of new things, and when he checked his room, the money he had been saving was gone. Now here's the thing, Kelly doesn't have a job, and when she does have money, she spends it like it'll burn a hole in her pocket. Since my son was so upset, my boss let me go home early, and I went home and asked Kelly who took her shopping. Kelly told me that she used her own money. I then told her to tell me the truth, and she told me to mind my own business. Now here's the thing. Jason's been working his job at a local pizza place, and he's been saving it for months. He was saving money to surprise the dad of his best friend who passed away, Bo, for his first birthday without him. His friends had also given him money to load onto his card to pitch in. It's this weekend for 2 days, and they were going to treat Dad. Most kids would be saving for their first car or cool clothes, but he just wanted to be there for his friend's dad. Instead of arguing back and forth with Kelly, I just checked the camera we have to check on the dogs. It only caught her legs, but it was Kelly going into Jason's room. The rule in my house is that we don't go into each other's room. It's a mutual respect of privacy. I told Kelly she was caught and that she needs to get everything to return it all. Kelly then starts throwing every excuse in the book. I had saved it for months. How did you know it was me? Somebody must have broken in and stolen Jason's money. How dare you accuse me? A little bit later, her mom comes home and Kelly just burst into tears, saying that we, Jason and I, were ganging up on her and we're screaming at her. I just showed my wife the video and what happened, and Kelly ends up saying, "Why does he get to have all the money anyways?" I just told her he worked his ass off. And here's the thing, my wife is very protective of her daughter, which led to a huge argument, and I told my wife that she needs to make Kelly return everything, and that's when she said, no, it'll be embarrassing to return it all, and when Kelly gets a job, she'll repay Jason. I just told her it'll be more embarrassing when she gets arrested for stealing from Jason. We just continue to argue, with my wife not even listening to a word I was saying and taking her daughter's side. I then tell my wife that Kelly broke a non-negotiable rule, as well as the law by stealing. She's 19, she doesn't pay rent, so she needs to leave. And that's when my wife says, if you kick her out, I'm going to. So I asked her if she was either willing to replace the money stolen, as we have separate bank accounts, force Kelly to return the money, or she could give me half of the rent early, as we split all the bills. And my wife said no. My wife's a hothead, so they packed a few bags and left. I wasn't gonna rip the bag of stuff out of her hands, because I don't think getting physical would have been the smartest thing to do. And before you make me out to be the a-hole, I don't have the extra money for him to still go. I work paycheck to paycheck, and I can only replace the small amount back to his friends that was stolen. And that's not enough for Jason to make the trip. He went to bed without eating, and he's been crushed. The next morning, I decide to go to the police. The solution was, the officer would call my wife to bring Kelly to the station to talk, or she could return the items and pay back Jason. That was sort of a scare tactic because I was told it's a civil matter. And here's where it goes completely downhill. It was like a switch was flipped. My wife straight up effing lied to the officer, and she said she gave the money to her daughter. And since I don't have actual proof of Jason's money, no proof other than her walking into his room, nothing can be done, and I'm livid. I literally watched Jason get his heart broken at the police station. When we got back to the car, through frustrated tears, he said, "How could they do this to me? I just wanted to see Bo's dad." Jason's my son from a previous relationship. I had to lecture him on not keeping large amounts of cash in his room, but honestly, I didn't think it would get stolen. My wife and Kelly have support. They're staying with family, and this will not affect them. Update: 5 days later. So I know a lot of people are waiting for an update after reading my last post. In case you didn't read my first post, my 17-year-old son had been saving all summer to go visit his friend's dad on the anniversary of his son's passing. I didn't know he had so much cash in his room, about $1,000, or I would have told him to put it in a safe, but I'm not gonna victim blame. My son should not have to worry about someone stealing from him in his home. The rule in my house is that no one goes into each other's room. parents included. It's not so much of a rule, but a mutual respect thing. My 19-year-old stepdaughter then steals his money, and her mom refused to make her return the stuff she got. I almost took the bags from her, but I'm glad I didn't, because my wife lied to the police about the money, so she could have easily lied about me putting hands on her. The police said it was a civil matter, since my wife said she gave Kelly the money, which was a lie. My wife then said if I was kicking Kelly out, she was going too. I didn't stop them. My wife and Kelly have support. They're staying with family. This weekend, my wife shows back up at the home with a police escort. She came armed with receipts that she bought the furniture in our rental, and that's all she needed to take everything. I tried explaining to the sheriff that I gave her cash for some of the items, but guess what? Just like with Jason, cash doesn't leave a trail. Her family was also with them, and they helped her move everything in under an hour. We've been married for almost 2 years at this point, and with how quick this all happened, the cynic in me thinks that my wife had this planned well before what happened. My wife then contacts the landlord, and she paid a lot of money to break the lease, almost double the money that Kelly stole. But of course, she didn't offer to repay Jason. After everyone left, my landlord called, and I had a mini breakdown. Everything was moving faster than I could comprehend, and honestly, it felt like I was watching a movie. That's when Jason came up to me and he said, "I'm sorry you lost everything because of me, Dad. It's not a big deal. I'll tell Mom it's okay and that Kelly needed that money more than me." And that's all I needed to hear to snap out of it. I told him that he's all that matters to me, not her, not the house. And yes, that is super cheesy, but there's nothing my wife can do, say, or give me to make me overlook or be okay with what they did to him. I then asked him, "Are you gonna feel comfortable around them? What about when you're gone? I don't want you to have to worry about what she'll steal next." My wife made a choice that would end our marriage. When the police officer asked her about Kelly, she chose to defend and protect her, just like I'm choosing to protect my son. If Jason's not comfortable, I'm not comfortable. I told him that. And here's the thing. The people in my life have been saying things like, "Your son's almost an adult. It's time to grow up and be a man. Stuff happens. Just move on." It doesn't matter what age I am. I'll always protect and side with my son over anybody. And yes, he's almost an adult, but that doesn't mean it's okay to steal from him. Having a crime or something bad happening to you isn't the rite of passage to be an adult. He's a responsible, hardworking, honest, kind 17-year-old. But he's also the 8-year-old who used to run to me every day after work, with a huge smile like I hung the moon. His biological mom hasn't been in his life since he was 4, and I hate how hurt he is. I can't afford the full rent without my wife, so luckily, my landlords agreed to let us stay until the end of the month and leave by the 1st. The only place we have to go to is my mom's until we sort the whole thing out. And I'm not saying I'm not devastated, that I'm not suffering emotional whiplash, and I'm not saying the things that are being said about me in real life aren't affecting me, because it is. But my son needs me. He's still grieving the loss of his friend. We were only married less than 2 years, and if you told me 20-ish days ago that I would be searching for a decent divorce lawyer who doesn't require a retainer fee, I would have laughed in your face. It's just mind-blowing that my wife is blaming me for this. And Kelly's been talking to Jason here and there, and she's saying things like, "You should have hid it better. Finders keepers." And my ex-wife is going, "Why'd he have so much cash on him anyways? What did he think was gonna happen?" I just told her, "You need to know that there's going to be a time where you can't bail your daughter out. You're doing her such a disservice enabling her and cleaning up her mess because she's not going to learn any life skills. No one likes a spoiled, entitled brat, and Lord have mercy for her when she gets her first real dose of karma." So this is my last update about this. I know a lot of people are wondering what happened. Kelly's still not being held accountable, and my soon-to-be ex has moved in with her coworker that I believe she's been having an affair with. They're fine. They're thriving. Their world isn't crushed like ours is, but we'll be fine. Man, reading this, I can't help but to feel bad for OP and his son. Like, the fact that his wife took no accountability for what her daughter did and took her side over the theft of $1,000 and then let the marriage burn to the ground is insane to me. Like, it just boggles my mind that the marriage was shattered, guys, all because the wife refused to make her daughter return the things she bought with stolen money. Like, it was as simple as making your daughter return that stuff, getting the money back, and then paying Jason. But yeah, like OP said, maybe this was the easy out for the wife and she just took it. I just hope OP and his son are doing well. So it was a fun morning at the beginning of last week, starting up my truck and waking everyone up at 2:45 a.m. to learn that somebody had swiped the catalytic converters on my truck. The idiots missed the neighbor's cameras that basically gave away who they were. It's two kids from the neighborhood who drive around in a pretty busted up police Crown Vic. I chose not to call the cops. Instead, I call one of my friends who's code enforcement, and I let him know what my plan was, and he relayed the info to the police that I was finally going to do a nuisance tow on that same Crown Victoria. The car they drive isn't street legal, and it has no license plates or insurance or working taillights. The thing also rattles like crap due to the sound system. They also spend their whole day at a chicken shack smoking. Now, I'm not sure who they're getting money from, but I'm guessing stealing catalytics was part of the equation. When I saw the car sitting on a quiet street, I called it in and I got the go-ahead to tow. I took it straight to the police station and they tried to run an owner's check with the VIN number, only to find out it hadn't been registered since 2011. The cops then said we could go ahead and take it to the junkyard and they can get a black title, aka Certificate of Destruction. By then, the two idiots were running around town looking for their car, thinking it got stolen by one of their friends as a prank. They found it at the junkyard and they tried to steal it back. One of them distracted the owner and the other one stole the car. But the junkyard was well aware of who they were, so they cut the drive shaft off beforehand. Now, I missed out on this part, but they got arrested for trying to steal their car back, and they watched as the junkyard used a crane to rip the car to shreds. They've been out of jail since, but they haven't left their trailer. I did a drive-by earlier, and I noticed a beater Jeep Liberty in their driveway, also with no plates. I'm already working with the cops on taking that one too, if I see it out in public. Except, I won't miss the show next time. Guys, to me, there is nothing more entitled than thieves stealing from others, and those idiots getting their car towed and destroyed by OP makes me so happy. I've had a few neighbors who've had theirs stolen, and it frickin' sucks, guys. And that's when I found out that thieves get at most like $200 to $300 for those things at scrapyards. Sometimes even less, and it costs the owners like $1,000 or more to get a new one in their cars. So yeah, I hope OP keeps towing, and he keeps crushing those thieves' cars. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our /entitled people. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's stories. If you did, hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing so you don't miss these crazy stories. And if you missed the last episode on the channel, it's in our /entitled people episode, another one where a psycho Karen mom keeps stalking her daughter. And guys, it gets worse and worse from there. Go check it out if you haven't. And myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.